Good day, puppy lovers. Blue is back. Let's groom this little Coton de Tulear. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the groom. All right, let's get you in the bathtub, honey. Little one. Ooh, I have filmed him before. He is a fantastic pup to groom. So let's put this on. Hang on. I don't want to get too wet. And I'm going to tie this up. I'm going to tie you up too, Blue. There. Tie him up just in case. I don't think he needs to be tied much. So I cut myself with scissors this morning, so I will be wearing at least one glove so that I don't get any infection in there. Hey, there you go. So let me think. I had some questions I was asking. I didn't get any answers though. Not as of now. What were the questions? Oh, bathing a dog once a month, if that's too often, and you're not supposed to, they're saying you're not supposed to bathe the dog more than once a month. Well, that is, in my book, untrue. You can bathe your dog more often. Before, years ago, that's what it was. But people were using shampoos that, some people were actually using dish soap. And shampoos, human shampoos for human beings, for hair. And nowadays, there's so many good shampoos out there, pH balanced for dogs. And so long as you are, not using anything too harsh, because there are some bad shampoos too. You need to be sure it's a good quality shampoo. And if you're bathing your dog more regularly than once a month, just be sure that you're using a really good shampoo that's hydrating. It can be a 2-in-1, that's good because you have some conditioning in there. So it's fine if you wash your dog a little more often. Especially if the dog needs it. So if the dog doesn't really need it, then there's no real need to wash the dog, right? But especially if the dog, because there are some dogs that get a little greasier. Some older dogs too, they tend to get really, like their skin is like greasier. They're just older. Or some different types of dogs that have greasier coats. So maybe you'll want to clean those dogs a little more often. But all in all, whoa, sorry, I just stood up. No. Don't do that. Hang on. I tried to put you down. I don't want you to knock yourself. There. So Blue, I see Blue super often. I'm not sure if it's between 4 and 8 weeks. I gotta check his card. He doesn't need 2 shampoos. He's good with only 1. So that's what we're gonna do. What was the other question? It was about the nails. Oh yeah, that other question about the nails. Well, I had asked you guys what you guys thought of, because some people say that if you're walking your dog regularly, on pavement, on cement, the dog is walking, that you don't need to do the dog's nails. Well, true, untrue. Part of it is true. Well, no, not completely. When a dog walks, sometimes it'll happen that, like especially the back feet, the nails will rub on the pavement and that will use up the nail. I've seen dogs where it uses up so bad that they actually quick themselves, that they're easy to bleed, right? Because it's just too short from the rubbing. They don't lift their foot enough. But it does happen, even just this week, it does happen where the dog walks a lot, the nails get, filed down from the rubbing on the pavement, but a specific nail doesn't touch the ground and that one grows out. So yeah, sometimes the dogs will do the walking and rub the nails, and then you'll look at especially the back nails and go, wow, this dog walks a lot. But sometimes they'll have a specific nail on the back, in the back, or sometimes two. Often it's the ones on the exterior here, and they'll just be longer. So those you got to do. So it's a myth to think that you don't have to do the dog's nails if they walk a lot. What you got to do is you got to have a look at the nails and see if some of the nails are still remaining and if some of them got rubbed down to the quick. So that's kind of the answer to that. There, one ear. You got some dirty ears, boy. There. So for those who don't know me, I'm Elizabeth Jenn, professional dog groomer since 2010. I upload new videos every Monday and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time. And all of my videos are pretty much this, where I'm grooming the pup, and as I'm going, I explain what I'm doing, or if there's a situation that arises, like the dog example doesn't want me to hold his foot, and I'll show you how I do that, or I'm having a tough time with the nails, and then I'll show you how I get that done. There's a lot of chit-chat going on. There, look at that, round and round. I got to get some of that facial soap. I used to do that blueberry facial. Look at how sweet he is. Guys, can you give this video a thumbs up and maybe mention how sweet Blue is? Like, give him a good boy Blue in the comments. Good boy Blue. Takes a second. You don't have to stop the video. You can keep going. Good boy Blue. Often they'll get right in here, all around here. They get pretty greasy. They get really dirty. If they are too greasy, I suggest you using a degreaser shampoo. He's good. Just this shampoo here. Especially if the dog has had ear infections, and then they use that product for ear infections that just makes the whole ear greasy. Oh, I hate that product. So then when that happens, then you need to clean that up. But you got to be real careful not to get any water anymore or any soap in there, because you don't want to, make that ear infection worse or cause another one. It's funny how when it gets cooler outside, I'm used to using my temperature. I'm used to putting both of them right at the end, at the strongest, and then I just take a little bit of the hot away. But when it gets colder outside, it's the contrary. I gotta take a little bit of the cold away because the water's so cold. So my setting's never the same, all depending on the weather outside. Yeah. There. So I am thinking of doing a members only Wednesday video. And then once I have enough members, I'll be doing members only live videos. That's for sure. I really want to do that. So that means that only the members will be allowed to comment on my live videos. And if I'm to do, well, not if, I think I'll start next week or something, or this week. I will, yeah, just film a video. If I do that, maybe next week. I'll think about it. Anyhow, so I'll have to get a video up on the Wednesday and only for members. If you want to become a member, you just, all you need to do is click join. On my channel, you'll see, I think it's next to the subscribe button, somewhere around there. There's a join button. There. I'm just going to dry his head off just a little so I can get to the top of his head. There. Close those ears. Remember, when you're closing the ears, see the flap? See how that's open? If you're holding the ear further down here and holding it like that, you see how water can still get in there? That's not where you want to be holding. You want to go at the base of the ear, right at the base of the ear. See, I'm closing both of them, holding him like this, keeping his head back like that. And when you close the ears like that, you want to be sure that you've wiped off that water. That's how I do it, because if the ear is all wet and you squish, you're going to squeeze that water right down the ear, and you don't want ear infections. It's bad for the dog's not happy, and the parents aren't happy either because it costs so much for the medication and just, you know, the hassle of having to go to the vet again, the cost. There, hon, we're all done. Oh, yeah, all right. Up your face, there. I'm gonna get you to the table. All right. Well, I have a question for you. I've heard before someone mentioning that if you use a dryer on a dog's face, that it can hurt them. What's your take on that? Comment that down below. Let me know what your take is, what you think about that. If you use a dryer on the dog's face, is that bad? Can that hurt them? What do you feel about that when you see a groomer drying a dog's face? What's your thoughts on that? Okay, time to put some conditioning spray, hun, just a little bit. This is a new conditioning spray that I've been using, and I noticed that I can't put too much of it because it kind of gets, I want to say greasy, but you know, not, hang on, give me a second, I got to take this off. I want to say greasy, but yeah, it's just a little heavier. It's the SOOS spray, but at the same time, it's really soft. I like it. It smells fresh, but it's just, I don't know. It depends on the coat. I tried it on a drop coat on a Yorkie, and I didn't like it on the drop coat. I didn't. So I'm not going to be using this one on that little one's coat again. Okay, let's clean out your ears. Your eyes seem fine. Let's clean out your ears. Hang on, honey. What's going on in here? See? So I'm going to wiggle. It's good to just wiggle some of this out. Sometimes it can be packed in the back and down inside, and there seems to be a little knot there. So I'm just going to use my trusty shavers. No. Flip your ear. Show me your ear. And I'm just going to shave the inside. Give me a second. He's pulling. Don't pull like that. Give me a second. Don't get mad at me. So I'm not pulling. I'm just twisting and jiggling. No pull, hun. Twisting and jiggling because it's shaving it out. You can do it like this also. I'm just shaving that hair out instead of pulling all of it out. So you can pluck completely if you want. I'll use a second one here. I don't like using the same one. You can pluck, cut with scissors if you want. It's a little trickier. I'm going to show you the inside of this ear. So you see this here? Right there. Hang on. Right there. That's going to come out. I'm just wiggling it to straighten it. Give me a second, honey. He's going to fight me on this. Give me a second. See, as you I'm not pulling hard, I'm just wiggling some, going to get more. See all of that came out? All of that's got to go. So I'm going to use the blue one. I'm going to go right down at the bottom here. Do not stick this in the dog's ear. Do not stick it down in the ear. You want to be flat. These things are nose hair shavers. And this is just something that I see how well it came out like that. This is just something that I like using because I don't have to pull and pluck the whole ear, which is fine. You can pluck the ear, but I just think that shaving does an awesome job also, and it's just a little less annoying maybe for the dog. So see, all of that came out. There. So these I will wash. They're going straight in this little glass here. I put them upside down. These are going to go in the wash. I wash with some soap and some hot water. Clean it all out with a toothbrush. Take all of the hairs out. Clean it up. Then after that, I dry it with my force dryer just to be sure. You can dry it with your dryer, whatever. You got to let it dry up so that it doesn't rust. I wouldn't want the blade to rust. And yeah. Then after that, I spray a little bit of alcohol. So when I started grooming, I want to show you guys a different way to clean dogs' ears, okay? When I started grooming, this is the way I learned it. I wasn't using the typical ear cleaner. The way that they taught me was with a baby wipe. You can use baby wipes to clean out ears also. I prefer using the proper liquids that you use for the ear, but I'm just showing you a different way. If you don't have any, or you can just use a washcloth also. You can use a washcloth with warm water and just clean that out all around the ear also. And you just push in with your finger, not too far. We're just cleaning the area. See? And it leaves the ear nice and clean. I will flip this cloth over so that I can wash the other ear. So this is just a different way. You can use this, and you can use a washcloth to wash out the dog's ear. Now this dog has pretty clean ears already. If your dog has really, really bad ears, of course, it would probably be better to use a different product that is made for the ear, but also maybe see a vet, because if the ears are really bad, unless the vet says, oh no, your dog's like that, the dog really gets dirty ears, so then that's another thing. So I'm going to dry this little one, set him up right here, and we'll get him dry. Hang on. Come up. Up. Just put you in the sling here. I'm setting him in a sling so that he just doesn't turn too much while I'm working with him or sit too much. And I'm going to dry him now. Okie dokie. All right, so I did not dry his head. Yeah, I find that this new spray that I've been using, the conditioning spray, I just find that it also makes it, you know, the hair, it's longer to dry. Well, I still have to use it because I bought a full bottle, a huge bottle. So I'm gonna have to use it just the same. So I'm not drying his head. I will dry a little bit with the other dryer, just a little, a quick. But I'm gonna let the rest dry on its own because, yeah, get the groom done faster and less annoying for him, and it gets done anyway. Here. So I'm just picking through here with my comb. I can easily come in with a brush. Oh, wow. This one, that won't be brushed. I'm not brushing that. That is coming off with the scissors. Mom told me he had a few knots here and there. She'd been focusing more on his teeth brushing, she says, and kind of forgot all about brushing, something like that, along the lines that she was saying. So if you come into a snag here, just do some poking around instead. Starting from the bottom, working your way up. There's a little snag, go back to the bottom, come back up, play around with it. You can even just do some ripping like that. You can come straight in also with a brush. Okay, we're gonna let this dry. Feels good. See, chin, there. This is my last pup of the week. As I'm recording this, it's Saturday, so you're viewing it on the Monday. So let's just give it a quick dry with the dews here. Hang on. Like I said, not much. I just want to get some of the dampness out. You know, it's where it's just too wet, just to get things started. And once I get to his head, because I always save the head for last when I'm grooming. And once I get to his head, then I'll probably just come in, and if it's not dry enough to my taste, then I'll just turn the dews on once again. What's this here? Oh, what is this? What is that? Wow, what did we find? He's got some sort of ouchie that he got here. Okay. Well, we're going to have to show Mom that little ouchie that you have. I'm going to take some of this goopy stuff off here just to clean it. Is it healed? Is that healed? What is that? What is that? Give me a second, hon. I'm going to cut some of this around off. Just a little so that I can get in there and see. What happened here? Was that just goop? It's just dirty goop? Why did you have that there? Okay, let me see. I'm going to try to take some... give me a second. Here, we're going to use our... These can come in handy again for something like this. Or sometimes when they poop on the table or pee. It does happen. Okay, well... There's no sign of an opening or blood or whatnot, so... It's just pretty dirty. What is that? He might have scratched himself before. I'm not sure. And it's all like greasy. So I'm not going to play around too much with it. I'm going to show his mom. You don't have that on this side, right? No. I'm going to have to show his mom for sure. Be sure she's aware of it. Although it doesn't look alarming or scary, or there's no blood. It's just goopy. What was that goopy back there? Were you eating candies and you got candy goop back there? There. You should fluff up your face just a little bit and fluff up the ears just a little bit. That. There are certain dogs that I actually just don't dry at all, like little Yorkies. And as I said, this is something new that I've been trying. Just not drying them too much in the face. They're annoyed with that. Had I known this 15 years ago. But it's all good. It's all good. And of course, the more you dry and brush, the straighter the hair is and the nicer the cut, of course. You won't get too many curls and no, so I'll dry more if the dog is a little curlier. Let's see how he's not too curly. And sometimes I don't mind a natural look, the more natural look, because they'll go home and it'll take them a day or two and they'll get curly anyway. All right, let's let the rest dry out on its own. Okay, let that dry. Let's get to the cutting here. Throw this out. Of course, I'm going to clean this up. Always want to keep your tools nice and clean. I'm going to use a little bit of alcohol spray on there and just let that dry. Put these scissors away. And keeping a clean work area will help you also. All right, so let's start with your toesies. Show me your toes. Turn around. Turn around. Don't be shy. Give me the toe. Keep that tail out of the way. Wait, you need to stand for this, hun. All right, let's get in there. Toesies. One footsie. We do the other footsie too. There, you want to go like all around that area here, to the sides. So you don't just want to go in flat. That. I also want to use the edge of my blade here to really go get the size also. You see all of those toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a dog that I groom that only has 4. He only has 3 ditches here. It's like, where's the other one? See how I'm using just the edge of my clipper here? Cleaning that out. You don't want to dig in there too deep. If there's any mats in there, you got to go cut that out. I usually use my scissors, or if you're to try to use it, please use a 10 blade. You're risking it with the 30 blade. See how clean that those toes are? So if you're digging in there with a 30 blade, and especially if you're not used to it, you're really risking cutting the dog. So go and use a 10 blade, please. There, these 30 blades are pretty short. All right, all done. Okay, 10 blade now. Speaking of the 10 blade, let's get in with this one, and we're going to lift you up. You can stand, you're a good boy, you can stand up. And we're gonna come in and lightly clean up this area. And when I say lightly, we're not pressing, guys. We don't want to press on the skin. I come all around this way, and then I like to come in reverse, because when you're doing it this way, sometimes it leaves clipper marks. Well, anyway, when I do it, it does that. So I prefer doing it this way. And then I'll come down and take some more off like that. Okay. There, all cleaned up. 1, there. Now we're going to do under his arms. I always do under the arms because that's where mats can form, and you don't want to be brushing under there because it's very uncomfortable. The least possible anyhow. Let's do this part here. There, done. Okay, we can do the bum area. You can either do this with your scissors or your clippers. If you do it with your clippers, I'm going to show you how to do it. Just come in with, do not touch the skin on the bum. Don't touch the skin. If you need to use the edges, the corners, come in clean with the corners. But you don't want to be sitting on the skin like this and rubbing, okay? Because that's gonna be a little painful. And if you are in that area and you think that you've touched or whatever, it's good to give your little clipper a spray here with some alcohol just to be sure that you're not getting any bacteria transfer there. Okay, so this little one, what's your length? He's a 16 millimeter. That is the yellow Andes comb, and that is 5/8 inch. That is 0 Andes, yellow. But before doing that, we have to do 2 more things. 1, brush. Second thing we need to do is nails. So that's all ready. I'm gonna do the nails. Do I do the grind with the grinding grinder? No, look. We'll just clip, clip, clip. Okay. Just dropped into the pair of scissors there. Okay, I got that set. Now, when you're clipping from underneath like this, you do want to be sure that you're checking your length here, okay? You just want to take, for him, I'm just taking a little tip off. Some dogs, as mentioned, if they're walking lots, they might not need all of their nails clipped. Sometimes you'll find some shorter than others or longer than others. Same thing, right? So I see my hook here, and in general, when it's a hook like that, you just want it to be flat with this here, flat, okay? But some dogs have a longer vein than others. The best way to do this, guys, is to always just peel a little off at a time. See how I'm just taking just a little tip off, and then you come in and do a little more, and you can do a little more till you start revealing a little more of that vein. Or the logic, you know that logically, that's short enough. See? See here, that little dot there? Little dot. Stop. Stop at the dot. On a white toenail, the dots are usually pink. I didn't even want to go any further than that. I didn't want to chance it. You know, even me, I'm like, it's never my favorite thing. Doing the nails, seriously, never is. Because sometimes the different reasons, right? So sometimes the dog's going to want to fight you, bite you. And sometimes you're just, this thing. It's just the whole thing. You don't want to cut the dog. By the way, when you get clippers like this and you have, hang on, honey, when you have this here that comes out here, you know, they say that is for when you put the nail in and then you can clip. It's so that you don't quick the dog. But that is not true. Do not ever rely on this. Never. Can you imagine these nails here that I've already clipped that are close to the quick? Imagine if I put that in there like this and then I depend on that, I would quick the dog really bad. Okay? So do not depend on this thing. This thing is worth nothing. Nothing. Okay? So you got to rely on your eyes and the logic. And if you're new at this, you will, you know, a dog, you will make a dog bleed. It's inevitable. New groomer. And it still happens with me sometimes. So, yeah. Just know that it'll happen as long as you're not, imagine this is the nail. You're going to be cutting just, this whole thing is the nail. Pretend this is a nail, okay? So if you're cutting a little, till you see that dot. Or if you feel that the dot's getting close or whatever and you want to stop there, then stop there, okay? Sometimes you can't see it well. But you don't want to say, okay, let's start cutting, and then start there. Don't do that. You're going to be in trouble. You don't want to just jump in. And even if you figure, hey, this really is extra, don't. Because you don't know how long that vein can be in there. That's just my 2 cents on that. So as mentioned many times in my videos, and I will always mention that when you're brushing, you're tapping and pulling up and away. You do not want to be brushing the dog on the body. Try this brush out on your arm and tell me how that feels. If you're not sure how it's feeling on the dog, try it on yourself. Okay. And often, if you listen, there's a difference between hair that's been brushed and hair that still has little knots in it, little tangles. You can hear the you know? And once it's all brushed out, see here, you're hearing it? There's little tangles there. Those are little tangles. Once they're out, there's not much of that sound left. See how soft now it is? Watch here. Hear that sound? See? No more sound. When there's no more sound, you know there's no more knots. There. So once you've brushed out your dog, you really want to use, don't skip this part, guys. You really want to use your comb. Your comb's going to tell you if you did a good job or not. Your comb's going to say, you go right down to the skin, and don't go too fast with your comb, because you could run into these surprises here and then snag, and then the dog might react and want to snap at you. It's not because the dog is bad when they do that, by the way. It's just their way of saying, hey, Usually in here, they don't really tend to like being brushed in there, so you go really slowly. This is a really sensitive area. So your comb's going to tell you, so be sure, do not skip this part, because the dog needs to be nicely combed out to be able to use this, so that it can get right through that coat. Sometimes there are tricks that I do that I've shown you guys before, that if there's some knots in here and I can't brush the dog for some reason, there's knots, whatever, sometimes I'll just leave it like that and I'll cut through it with my scissors, and then I'll brush a little bit afterwards instead of making the dog go through some overly, like just too much brushing. So I'll just fluff everything up. There's some little knots here and there that would take a lot of brushing, and then I'll come in, snip it all out, or just work in it and snip him. Then I'll brush a little. It opens up the knot and I'll brush a little. But anyhow, all this to say is use your comb. Be sure to use your comb. The dog needs to be brushed out before you do any clipping with a an adjustment comb. Okay, so I think he's all combed and brushed out. So we're gonna do this 16 millimeter. Let's go. He has some knots in the front, and I just want to show you how I get rid of those knots. So I'm gonna do just this back like this. Sometimes I like to fluff back up, do a little back combing, back brushing, and I can get just a little more like that. If I do back brush, I'm holding it lightly, and I'm not really touching the skin. There, that's good enough. 3 passes should be good enough. Okay, we'll do the sides here. Do the other side and put his collar back on. Well, collar, lead. Right. Not much coming off here, eh? Hang on. There. See, sometimes a little bit of a back brush up can help. Sometimes the coat wants to lay flat and then it just doesn't feed into the clipper. Lift up your arm, hun. Thank you. Okay, so we got a few knots there. I just wanted to show you how I get that done. Okay. You can come all the way down the leg. Someone had asked me at one point why I don't go down the leg. You can, if you want. The coat's thick, I usually will, but I finish everything off with the scissors anyway, so whether I bring it down or not, it'll get done with the scissors. Okay, turn. Do the bum here, bum area. Oh, see, there's some knots at the bum area. They don't like being brushed here, so I'll come in and cut. Okay. See how not much is coming off. I'm gonna back brush. It does help a little. Short enough, I guess. Okay, we'll do the side. There. You can do it with a comb also. Just take your comb and just fluff everything back. He's got such a soft coat also, and soft coats are not always, I don't find them always very like the easiest to work with, because they'll just, as soon as you touch, it stays the way, the way you'll touch it. Or I prefer working with coats that are a little wiry, a little more wiry. Soft coated dogs, I don't always find that they have the best finish. Well, they have, from one dog to another, especially cottons, from one cotton to another. Some have softer coats than others, but I just find that when they're little, not as, fluffy, like as soon as you touch, see how when I touch, look at that, how it stays. That is soft coat. So, yeah. All right, over here, there's a knot here. I just wanted to show you how I get through to that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use these here, these little thinning shears, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to snip a few of these out. Thinning shears have these little teeth, okay? And it doesn't show as much when you're cutting with them. It leaves more of a natural look. So if he was shorter, I would just come in and snip all of that away. with my scissors instead of going in with the clipper. But since he's not that short, he's short, but not that short, I'll just come in and do them individually. You search for it with your comb. He's pushing. Look for it with your comb. He might have a little hole there. Try to brush some out. Let's see what happened here. Do I have some left? So you're kind of going back and forth. Brush. Clipper. Comb. Scissors. Brush. See? I'm gonna search a little more. Keep your head that way. The whole time I'm holding his head, he's pushing against my hand here, so I'm kind of forcing my arm on him. See how it doesn't show too much? So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna take this off here and we're gonna clip all of this underneath. I'm gonna back brush and then do this clipping like this, see? And that won't show too much. And see, if it was a lot, if he was shorter, like more like a 13 millimeter or something like that, or I would have probably just come in and just cut with my scissors like this, my straights, and I would have cut right through it. All right, other side too. Now he's got knots in here. I'm going to show you how I get rid of that also. Hold up. And there you go. Okay, so time to use the scissors. Let's go all around, guys. As you've seen me do this before, holding the foot up, coming in an angle, go all around. That's all you gotta do. If you're cutting sideways like this, you won't create a bevel, so you gotta kind of squeeze all of that in. You want a nice little bevel. When the foot comes down, you're going to want a bevel like this. We're going to finish this off later. Same thing on this side. Hang on, hon. Hang on. Wait. No. I'm just squeezing all of that hair with my finger, pulling it forward like that. That's good enough. Okay, this one here too. I'm pushing with my fingers all the hair upwards this way, right? Flat. Pushing with this finger, pushing up. Same thing here. I'm gonna push everything forward. There. Okay. You put your foot down a little too fast, honey. Hang on, hang on. All right, okay. Let's get the cut done. Back here, snip, snip. Back here. Oop, I'm gonna use my straights. Pull everything out here. If there are knots, it's fine, just cut right through them. If you haven't shaved on the inside here, you can just cut through them. I do not like brushing a dog, the leg on the inside like that over here. I'll do my best not to have to. If I have to, then I might have to, but in general, I like to cut. Right. I'm gonna do the sides here, fluff everything up. And let's go all the way down to the table. All the way down to the table. My favorite length, actually, for cuts is 13 millimeter. Shorter than this. This is a 16 and I prefer a 13. I think 13 is just the perfect length for short hair. There. Let's look at the inside. It's raining outside. I'm just glad that it won't be raining tomorrow. Calling for a beautiful day. Tomorrow is my granddaughter's birthday. And mine also. We're both born on August 31st. So you're watching this video on the Monday though, so it would make it the 1st of September. So yeah, so we get to celebrate our birthday together. She's turning 6. Guess how old I'm turning. Write it in the comments just for fun. How old do you think I am? Let's see if everyone makes me older than my age or younger. See, there's more knots in here, guys. I guess I missed that. There. Okay. There's more here. So usually all the brushing should be all done and no more knots to have to work with, but it does happen. But turn your head, hun. I like to keep their head straight. Come all the way down, right down to the table again. The scissors I'm using, unfortunately, are not serrated. They were serrated, but they were dropped and there was a kink in the serrated blade, and the guy that sharpens my scissors told me he had no choice but to sharpen that out, so there's no more serrated blade there. And that leaves divots and holes. It doesn't cut straight. So I need to get myself another pair of scissors, because what happened is, because they had a little dent, every time I tried to cut it would go click, 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 click. It would just jam right at that part. Okay. And anyway, the tips aren't cutting really well, and I just don't find that they're doing the job I want them to be doing. So I have another pair of scissors. Actually, what am I thinking here? I have another pair that put away. I should get those out. Give me a second. I think I'm gonna go get them. Let's see. Hang on. Got them. Are these okay? Were they sharpened? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What a nice pair of sharpened scissors. The magic. You can just, it cuts like butter. These are not as heavy. They're a lot lighter than the scissors, these Kenshis here. These are the precision cut. I actually really like these. They're way less expensive than the Kenshis, but I really like them because they're light. But then when I get into my Kenshis, it's like, oh my God, they're so, they just work for you, you know? But these are like, I don't know, I like these too. Precision cotton, it's called. And no, I'm not sponsored. They don't know about me, I don't know them, so. All right. No more knots. No more knots. And the tip also is just awesome. All right, so I'm gonna retire these for now. Let's get this done a little better. There's so many knots, come on, guys. I could call you guys. Like, why am I saying guys? It's not your fault. Hang on. All right, so I'm just gonna finish his face here, and I'm gonna let you know that I'm running out of batteries, so. Okay, so letting you know that I upload new videos every Monday and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And I will be starting, keep your eyes open for this, because I'm going to be starting some membership videos for only members grooming. And eventually I also want to do live videos for only members. So right now I have a few videos in my members section where I share my garden and a few silent grooming videos. So if you want to join, all you have to do is click join. And yeah, I'm just going to finish off this little face here. I don't want you licking like that. I want to snip your tongue. There you go. And finish off his face. And wait for my battery to die out. Just love it.
Hey there, pet parents and grooming gurus. If you enjoyed my tail-wagging transformations and want more tips to keep your furry friends looking fabulous, just hit that subscribe button. Remember, every click helps spread the love and lathers of grooming joy. Subscribe now and let's embark on this fluffy journey together.